everyone. My name is Haley Peterson, class of 2018, Assistant Director of Alumni Affairs. Thank you for joining us for Live Your Best Stress-Free Life with Kadeem Alston Roman, class of 2012. Kadeem is a holistic wellness coach, energy healing practitioner, aromatherapist, hypnotherapist, inspirational speaker, and K-pop fanboy. He has used his gifts and abilities to work with people at varying institutions such as Google, Yahoo, Verizon, Bloomberg, Audible, Mount Sinai Hospital, New York University, Brooklyn Friends School, Gibney Dance, the Actors Fund Art Center, the World Policy Institute, and others. His expertise has been featured in Martha Stewart Living, The Huffington Post, Medium, Healthline, and Authority Magazine. He is the founder of Kadeem One, an organization that makes wellness, inspiration, and healing fun by incorporating elements of pop culture into the mix. I am certain that you will feel relieved and inspired by Kadeem's message tonight. To further support him, please register to attend Alumni Weekend on Demand, where Kadeem will be honored during Evening of Distinction with a Young Alumni Recognition Award, and where this webinar will run as an encore. We hope to see you there. During this conversation, there will be opportunities for discussion amongst participants. Please interact with us using the chat feature. Without further ado, let's get to it, Kadeem.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Haley. Much, much appreciated. Thank you for that warm introduction. Thank you to everyone for joining for this webinar. It's so great that you decided to take time out of your day to join us and to learn ways that you can live your best stress-free life. Because if you're stressed out, you can't live your best life. There's no way. So thank you so much for joining in for this webinar. As Haley mentioned, this is going to be interactive, going to be some discussion. There's going to be moments where I might guide you through certain experiences, and I want to know what your feedback is going to be. I'm curious to know if there are certain things that are working for you. If you have any questions, we can hold that to the end because there will be a Q&A at the end that you can ask any questions. But again, this is going to be interactive. Speaking is always amazing and it's always great, but I feel like it's even more important to have a deep experience with something by offering practical tools that you can use right now to help you live your best stress-free life. So, can we do a test to see if the interactive nature is there? So I want you just to type in the chat, I want to know how you're doing, simply. Just how are you doing at this present moment in time? So I'm going to be looking at the chat to see, what are we saying? How are we doing right now? And as you're putting that in the chat, again, I just want to say thank you so much to Haley. Thank you so much to Muhlenberg for having me come to offer this webinar, and especially the Muhlenberg Alumni Department. Much appreciated. Okay, Katie says, I'm not sure, to be honest. Very honest. Thank you so much for being honest. Tired, but so happy to be here. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Melissa, overwhelmed. Great. Well, hopefully what you learned today will sort of help you. David says, so much stress due to COVID-19. For sure. That's only natural. Living through a pandemic is stressful. Like, can you fathom that? Like, you're living through a pandemic. Something's happening right now on the entire global level, and you're still living here. So it's only natural that you're stressed out because everything that we're used to doing is out of whack. And it's unnatural to the way that we've been used to living for the past few years. So that's only natural. So thank you so much for sharing that. Mitch, I have good days and bad days. Okay, today was mediocre. Okay, awesome, great. That's a part of the human experience. Having good days, having bad days, and having mediocre days. So congratulations for having a mediocre one. Mediocre is better than bad. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for posting a few things in the chat. Again, as I mentioned, this would be interactive. So during our time together, I'm going to be asking you to just say a few things about our experiences. So you're here today, and today the focus is, again, living your best stress-free life. So let's talk about stress. Okay, let's talk about what stress is. So we think about stress usually as like a bad thing, but there's actually good stress. There's good stress and there's bad stress. In the science community, it's called de-stress and eustress. Eustress, not like you, Y-O-U stress, but stress, eustress as in EU stress. So eustress and distress. So what's the difference? So Eustress are those moments where you might be giving a big presentation and you feel butterflies in your stomach. For those folks that are in the performance world, before you're about to go on stage to give a big performance or dance or theater or singing, that's eustress. Getting married, graduating from college. Those are examples of eustress. Riding a roller coaster, working out. Those are examples of eustress. Then there's distress. Distress are things like family issues, being overworked at work, not getting enough sleep, having problems at home, living through a pandemic. That's distress. The CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, state that 90% of all major illnesses are stress related. 90% of all major illnesses are stress related. Now, why is that? Because the more you're in these moments, and when they say stress, they're talking about distress, not eustress. Because if you think about this, the more you're stressed out, the more you're distressed out, the more the immune system breaks down. The more the immune system can't fight off disease, it can't fight off viruses. So the more essentially all these systems break down, the more disease can affect the body. So 90%, that's a pretty large number. So because of what's happening in today's world, because of what's happening through life, I want to offer just 4 simple things you can do right now in this moment to help relieve your distress. So I have what I'm calling my BEPS stress, BEPS, and that stands for breathing, environment, posture, and state. Breathing, environment, posture, and state. Breathing, environment, posture, and state. Breathing, environment, posture, state. Say it with me. Breathing, environment, posture, state. Go ahead. Breathing, environment, posture, state. BEPS. Those are the 4 things I'm going to be teaching you right now that you can help relieve you of your stress. BEPS, BEPS, breathing, environment, posture, and state. So the first thing is breathing. If we have breath, we have life. The breath, though, controls essentially our life force, our energy. So the more breaths we tend to take or the deeper we tend to breathe, the more life force, the more energy runs throughout our body. If you think about it, sometimes if someone is very scared or afraid, usually what happens? They right, hold their breath, right? Whereas if someone's very relaxed or you just finished a task, you go what? Right? You breathe out, deep breath. So first step is breathing. So I'm gonna guide us through a breathing experience right now. So I will say if you're in a moment where you can just breathe easily, if you can close your eyes, that'll be awesome. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. But you can try to go through this experience with me as I guide you through it. Okay, so I would say wherever you are in this moment, so close your eyes. I'm gonna take you through this exercise. And once I'm done, you can use it whenever you need to. Okay, so again, this is the B, the breathing part. So close your eyes. Just feel yourself settle down wherever you are in this moment. And just focus on your breath. Just notice in this moment how you're feeling. And just try to relax every single part of your body in this moment. And again, just focus on your breathing as you relax every single part of your body. The legs relaxed, the right leg, the left leg, the stomach relaxed, the chest deeply relaxed, the arms relaxed, the shoulders, just relaxing down, the neck, the head relaxed. And as you relax every single part, I'm going to guide you through this breathing exercise. So you're going to breathe in for 4 counts, hold your breath for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, and then hold your breath for 4 counts. So let's try it together. Let's begin. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Last time, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Notice your breath. Notice your breathing on your own time. Notice how your body feels. Okay, good. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. How are we doing? How was that experience? How are you feeling after that? You can write it in the chat, and I will look at the chat and sort of see what you say. That was breathing. That was the B part of the BEPS experience. That's called square breathing, because it's a square, right? You breathe in for 4, hold your breath for 4, breathe out for 4, hold your breath for 4. So it's even amount of time breathing in and breathing out. So that's called square breathing. Amy says, really relaxing. Awesome. That's great. Awesome. Found my mind focusing on your counts, not any other thoughts that I've been racing through my mind all day. Awesome. That's good. That's wonderful. So this is something that you can just do. You can like set a timer for 3 minutes in your day. Literally just breathe in for 4 counts, hold your breath, breathe out for 4 counts, hold your breath. Because really coming back to the breath is important, because we forget. Because our body breathes for us, so we just take it for granted. But really coming back to this breath is truly important. Katie says, felt pretty relaxed after, but holding my breath, especially after breathing out, felt super difficult, and I could tell I was tensing. That's a good thing to notice. I would say the more that you do it, the more tension that you release, I would say. And I would say it's important as you're doing it, as you're breathing in, because I think sometimes as we breathe in, again, there's a moment where it's like if we're afraid or something is shocking, we go, oh, right? So I think as we're breathing in, we might have that moment of like holding our breath there. But instead of breathing from the throat area, right? It's important to breathe from the chest and the stomach, opposed to breathing from here, because that would really tense. That really tense us up. But thank you for sharing that. Let's see. Mitch asks, thoughts on nasal breathing as opposed to breathing, as opposed to mouth breathing throughout the day. For me, breath is breath. So taking deep breaths is important. Um, Usually nasal breathing can be more constrictive, however, than mouth breathing, but you can balance it out. So if you breathe in through the nose and then breathe out through the mouth, that's a good way to balance that out. But sometimes if you're at work, you can't, you're at work, you can't do that at work. So sometimes if you're at work, you need to sometimes just breathe in through the nose and through the nose. Or if you're in a presentation or meeting or a Zoom call, you can't sometimes always breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, or consistently in and out through the mouth. You have to sometimes balance that out. But if you can, I would say try to find the balance in it, nose and mouth together. A good question, Mitch. Thank you so much for asking. All right, so we got the B, right, in the BEP series. So B was for breathing. Next part is the E, which is the environment. Simply changing your environment. So if you're feeling stressed out and you're at work or you're doing a lot of Zoom calls all day, and just say you're in your office, in your house, or in your home, sometimes just changing the environment. So that could literally just be going to another room. It could be going outside to get some air. It could be going from your home or your office to your car. Sometimes just changing the environment is really great because we associate feelings and stress and emotions usually based off of our environment and where we are. You know, there's a lot of people right now that are working from home, and home is usually a place people come to relax and de-stress. But if you're working from home now, sometimes that can cause stress because you're working at a place that you used to rest in. And some of that working energy, some of that working mind, sort of psychology, is still in your home as you're trying to go to sleep. So sometimes it's important for you to say, okay, this area is going to be my work area. I'm not going to be doing any work on my bed or anything or a place that I'm going to be relaxing. It's important to separate the two. So just environment, changing your environment is really helpful. If you can, as much as possible, be out in nature, be near running water, walk on some grass, be near a tree, because all of those amazing things release negative ions, and those are really great to really help the body just decrease pain, relieve stress. It also helps to increase some of the feel-good neurotransmitters in the brain, such as like serotonin and endorphins, things of that nature. So just being in a new environment, but especially if you can get out in nature, that's awesome. So E, simply environment. So we have breathing, B, E, environment. Okay, what's next? P in the BEPS. P stands for posture. So if you think about someone that is sad, someone that is depressed, if you look at them, you can usually tell, right? Because their posture is usually hunched over, they're curled in like this, posture. Someone that's usually very confident, their posture would be like this if they're confident? No, there's usually what? Chest is out, right? Neck is up. If someone just wins a game, let's say it could be a game of tag or the Olympics, usually what's their posture? Here, victory, right? Posture. So we think that our feelings affect the posture, or our psychology affects the physiology. However, the opposite is possible. The physiology also affects the psychology. So simply changing your posture. So if you're doing stuff at work, or if you're feeling sad or depressed, notice sort of where you're at right now in this moment of depression or being sad or being stressed out. Notice where you are, and simply, just a simple change in your posture can make all the difference. Science is showing that the more someone takes certain postures, sometimes they're known as power poses. The more someone changes their posture to become a power pose or a pose of victory, that actually the mind, the brain, the neurology will actually shift to match whatever that physiology is. So if you take the pose, chest out, head up, arms on your hips, that's a good one to do. Or simply, again, if you're at work, you really can't look like Superman or Wonder Woman doing this on the Zoom call. Sometimes simply just shifting from this position to this position can also make a difference. There's times I tell people that feel super stressed out before an interview that they go on, or before they're trying to ask their boss for a pay raise. I tell them, go to the bathroom, get your power pose, hands up, head up, smiling towards the ceiling in the bathroom, and hold that for 2 minutes. Because that will actually start to change the neurology within the mind to give you that sense of victory, to give you that sense of confidence already. That's it. Simple. Posture. So, with posture, since I don't want to be the only one looking crazy, I've already been doing this by myself and doing this by myself, let's try to change the posture. All right? So, I want you to think about just one thing that makes you feel slightly stressed out. Just slightly. So scale from 1 to 10, maybe like a 2 or 3. Don't go all the way to the 10. So think about something that makes you slightly stressed out, whatever that is. And then once you have that, I want you just to put your head up, smile, and just put your hands, you put them up high if you can. I know you can't see my hands in the Zoom screen, but they're like this, they're in a fist. Or just put them behind your head and smile. Okay, and we're gonna hit that position for 30 seconds. Right, I don't want you looking at my nose because you already have. So I'm gonna turn myself to the side, okay? We're gonna do it together, right? So again, hopefully you have that thing that makes you semi-stressed out, okay? We're gonna hit this position, power pose, neck back, smiling, hands behind the head. Okay, ready? We're gonna hold it for 30 seconds. 1, 2, 3, go. Happy, smiling, keep going. Hold the position, smiling, happy, 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 happy. Yes, and the brain will start to adjust and change based off of the feeling. So go ahead, just hold it. Keep holding it up. I wish I could see people. It's okay though, I can't see you. No one can see you, so don't feel embarrassed. Okay, so go ahead, just keep going. Hold the position. You got 15 more seconds left. Hold the position. Smiling, looking up, looking so happy. So gorgeous, so amazing. Just happy. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, good. Hands down. Relax. Okay, how are we feeling? You might notice you'd be like, wait, what was that stressful situation again? What was that thing I was thinking about before? Because it can't stay. Again, because the physiology affects the psychology. So the more you change that position, the more the mind will go, oh, something here isn't matching up. Something isn't matching up. So what's happening in the mind is not happening in the body. But let's follow the body. So the mind will follow what the body's doing, and it will start to switch what's happening in the brain. Simple. Posture. Okay, so we got B for breathing, E for environment, P for posture, S, the last one, is state. Okay, so change your state. And I don't mean change your physical state in terms of like the states of America. Like I did, I moved from New York to California about a month and a half ago. Like I changed my state, for real, I changed my state. But what I mean is that change your emotional state. So if you're in a state of stress, do the opposite. So think about moments that you felt excited in your life. Think about those moments. Think about moments of joy. Think about things that make you happy. Even watching YouTube videos that are funny things. Watching that comedy special of Kevin Hart, Trevor Noah, Samantha Bee, whoever the people you like, Hassan Minaj, like watching things that make you feel happy, that feel excited, that make you feel joyful. Really tapping into those things that will change and sort of alter your current state. So that's one part of state, is feeling, recognizing, knowing something that you feel deeply connected with that makes you feel happy and excited and wonderful. The other state change is something called a pattern interrupt. So you know how sometimes you might be talking to someone, talking, and then they'll all of a sudden change the subject. And then before you know it, you're on this topic with them in this subject for like 5 or 10 minutes. And it's like, wait, don't change the subject. We're talking about something else, but now you change it to something totally different, right? That's called a pattern interrupt. Because if you interrupt the pattern that you're in, the mind will go, oh, okay, let's go this way. What's that movie? There's a movie where a cartoon movie where a dog is like, squirrel, right? That's pattern interrupt. Dog was focusing on something else, squirrel, right? So there's a pattern interrupt. Pattern interrupt immediately changes your state. So one example of a pattern interrupt is like you're feeling a moment of stress, just like, I'm gonna look very crazy doing this, okay? But I'm giving you an example of something that you can do to change your state, all right? So if you're in a moment of feeling stressed out and you notice it and feel it, you can just go, blah, 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 blah. I know I look crazy, okay? Don't laugh at me. I know I look crazy. But that is an immediate pattern interrupt that totally interrupts the pattern or the feeling that you're currently in. So you can do something like that, be crazy in that instance, or you can like put on your favorite song, listen to that, or get up and do like a crazy dance. Something that totally interrupts the pattern that you're in, the stressful pattern, to make you more excited, hopeful, not stressed out, relaxing, peaceful, calm. It could be, I know some people really like the ASMR videos on YouTube where they whisper, right? ASMR. Or they like crumple things up like paper, right? Something that makes you feel really, really relaxed. It could be watching a YouTube video of like ocean scenes going by, or rivers or lakes, or whatever it is. You know what makes you feel good, what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel excited. So those are the things that you need to tap into when it comes to changing your state. Okay? So those are my 4 things you can do right now to help. I mean, I feel like I would like to teach a 7-hour course on this because there's so many more things I know I would like to offer. However, we only have an hour. And I also want to leave time for Q&A in case you all want to ask any questions. But those are 4 things you can do right now to help you de-stress and live your best life. Okay? Do you remember what they are? Our BEPS protocol. Breathing. Change your breathing. You do square breathing. But it's change your breathing so it's deep breathing. 2, environment. Get out of the stressful situation. Get yourself to a new place, new environment, especially if you can in nature. If not, then it could literally just be changing from one room to the other, or from like your room to the car. 3rd thing, posture. Change your posture so that the physiology affects the psychology. Last one, state. Change your state. Change your emotional state towards something that makes you feel good, makes you feel amazing. And even if you feel crazy, that's okay too. Because the important thing for you is to make sure you're well. That's it. You need to be well so that you can live your best life. If you're not well, if you're stressed out, you cannot do that. So even if you're doing something like this and you look crazy, quote unquote crazy, that's okay. Because other people are not living your life. you are the only one that can live your life. And you are the only one that can truly make yourself well. You have the power to do so. So let everyone else think what they want to think as you're in your car or at home doing this. Let them think what they want to think. But at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're well because you matter. There's no one else. Can you believe this? There's no one else in the world like you. There's literally no one else in the world like you. Out of the 7 billion people in the world, no one else like you. There's no one else that has your fingerprint. No one else that has your DNA. You are literally 1 in 7.7 billion people. So you matter. You matter. And in order for you to live the best life that you know you want to and that you do deserve, you have to make sure that you're well so you can take care of yourself and your family and your friends. That's all. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Kadeem. We now have some time for Q&A. So if you have any questions about the ideas or practices that Kadeem has shared tonight, please chat them in at this time. And I'm going to disappear because I have a question too.
Okay. Yeah, so ask away. Nothing is off limits. If something looks a bit off limits, I'll still try to answer it as best as I can. But ask away. You can ask anything. You can make a statement. It's open. So I'll wait. I'll play the Jeopardy music. Okay. Give a comment. Okay, thank you, Kadeem. Amy, thank you, Kadeem. Any tips for disconnecting from work at the end of the day, especially in work from home environment? You can do a lot of different things to disconnect from work at the end of the day. If you're working from home, I know it's hard because you're working where you're living, and that's new for a lot of people. One way to disconnect from the day is if you have, like say if you're working on the laptop, for example, let's say at work, if you put that laptop away in an area where you won't see it, so you have to go to work the next day, that's a good way. Again, because the whole psychology is like, if you're using the same laptop for work that you're doing other personal work on, the psychology is like, I'm still at work. And we don't want that. So if you have a laptop or computer that you're working on, if you can sort of put it somewhere at the end of the day, that's a good way to disconnect. Another way to disconnect is, it depends on if you have this, but if you have any essential oils, those are awesome to use. Deep inhale, deep exhale of any oils that you may have. Another way to disconnect is writing. So at the end of your day, your work day, writing down some of the things that you accomplished today. This is also, sometimes it's hard for us to disconnect because we're connected continuously to things. But we're connected sometimes because we're not processing things at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, you take time, say, okay, my day's over, let me write down what I did today. Things that worked out well. Maybe things that were a bit of a challenge, things that I want to work on, that might be helpful tomorrow for me to work on. So writing that down, so you disconnect yourself by processing your day, and then writing down some of the things that you're looking forward to for now being home. Okay, so taking the work out of the home and just being home. Write down some things that you want to do. Watch TV, Netflix, take a 5-minute nap, do some meditation. So I think it's important for us to process what it is that we did during the day to help us disconnect, and then to get us into this new phase, this new part of our day of living at home and not working from home, writing down some of the things that you're looking forward to living at home, and make sure you're taking that time to rest and relax. So those are 3 things you can do. So hopefully that helps. Again, I'm trying to think about things you can do now, because I feel like there's other things I can mention, but I also want to make sure that these things are practical, that you can do like right now in this present moment. Bergalum says, what do you recommend for change of state, as as East Coasters are entering fall, winter, and we won't easily be able to escape the outdoors for, yes, true, outdoors for sunshine and fresh air. So one good thing you can do is it change of state or change of environment? Maybe. But okay. But I'm thinking because it's entering fall and winter, you can't maybe necessarily always go outside for sunshine and air. So one thing you can do is just simply just go from like one room to the other is a good idea. Simply just walking back and forth is great, because changing the environment is also changing your environment is, yes, changing the physical place, but it's also changing the internal aspect of you as well. So if you can't always go outside, because I know when we were on lockdown, sometimes you couldn't go outside. So literally sometimes being in your house, walking back and forth, if you have stairs, going up and down the stairs, jogging in place, doing some yoga, doing some exercise in place, that's a really good way to change the environment, your internal environment. And that's also a good way to also change your state at the same time. So that has both abilities to do that. If you have any like plants in your home, you can sit near the plants, be near them. That's a good way to get some of the negative ions from the plants. If you have like a fish tank in your home or an aquarium, again, just being near that water, looking at the fish is also a good way to change up the environment and change up the state at the same time. In the East Coast, I know it can get cold. I was there for all my life until a month and a half ago. Mitch, in response to Amy's question, one tip I heard was to set an alarm for shutdown, similar to having an alarm for waking up. That's good too. One person even recommended saying, system shut down when they're done for the day. That's good. There's always more to do. Got to rest. And yes, exactly. Yep. I love that, Mitch. Thank you for sharing. Got to rest and can pick it up tomorrow. It's interesting because you said that, and I was thinking about Staples. They used to have this button used to hit. That was easy. Remember that red button? That was easy. So having something like that signifies, boom, that was easy. That's the end of the day. Or as Mitch says, system shutdown. So you get that programmed in your mind, like, okay, yeah, day's coming to an end. That's it. Yeah, so that's great. Thank you, Mitch. Amy, awesome. Thank you. You're welcome. Burglar environment. Sorry, that's fine. That's totally fine. Katie, an add-on question based on your suggestions to writing process. I've tried keeping a daily journal, and I do know that I find it helpful, but I fall out of the habit quite often because I find that after work, I just want to. That's fine. Big out. Any suggestions to beat post-work apathy? That is such a great question. And that's so important because a lot of people are feeling that because they're working at home and having to deal with, if you have any children or family at home, being home with them consistently. If you have any pets, having the pets always at home. So yeah, so journal writing is great. I know you mentioned that, but you say you sometimes fall out of it. There's something I suggest. Breathing is great. That's a good way to help. I'll say if you can, this doesn't always work for everyone, but if you can literally, after work, just set a 5-minute timer and literally just like veg out. Just like do it. Set a 5-minute timer, close your eyes, and let your mind just wander. Just let it do what it needs to do at that moment. Because when we have these moments of being at work, we have to be super, super focused right at work. There's something if we're at home, we have certain responsibilities that we need to take care of at home. So sometimes there are moments where your mind just needs to shut off for like a few minutes. And that's okay because you need to have that time for yourself. So sometimes, and I've done this before, I might set my timer for 15 minutes, and I'm like, I'm just gonna lay here and stare at the walls, stare at the ceiling, because sometimes that's needed. And we don't take that time for ourselves because we think, oh, we're being lazy. Oh, we maybe shouldn't be doing that because there's so much work to do. But again, at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you yourself, that you're well. And if you're not well, you can't do anything well, right? So that's also good. Sometimes just like shutting things off, setting an alarm for a few minutes, and literally just sitting with your eyes closed, laying down with your eyes closed. That's a good way to also reset the mind, but also the body. Because a lot of the reasons why we feel stressed out, stress is essentially, de-stress rather, is essentially bringing the body out of what's called homeostasis, which is equilibrium or balance. So equilibrium or balance, or being in homeostasis, helps, is started essentially with the body being in what's called being in a parasympathetic state. So sometimes we get that state if we're at the beach, we feel really relaxed. Or after we eat some really good food, we get really relaxed. After Thanksgiving meals, we're like, food baby, just want to relax, right? So those moments where the body is in that sort of parasympathetic state, also called the rest and digest state, we need those moments on a consistent basis so that our body stays in this homeostasis moment, and also that it stays balanced, so it stays out of moments of distress. So I say it's okay to take those moments for yourself. Another good thing is to meditate. If you're open to meditation, putting on a good meditative CD or track is super great for that. Yeah, because we need those moments to sometimes just not do anything, and that's okay. I think that was a long answer for that, but hopefully that answered it a bit. Mitch, good idea. I'm getting a button. Yes, that was easy button. Although I did see somewhere they're out of stock now because they don't sell it anymore. But maybe you can get it on Amazon or eBay or something. Yes, but that button was amazing. Just press it all the time. It was easy.
You could find anything on Amazon or eBay these days. I would not be shocked to find one on there. Yeah. Thank you everyone for the great questions. And to Kadeem for providing our alumni with stress relief tips and tricks. Please spread the word to fellow alumni to de-stress with Kadeem on Sunday, October 4th during Alumni Weekend on Demand. It looks like one more just came in. So if you want to address that, okay. And that will wrap us up.
Okay, let's see. Mitch. I find myself on social media more during the pandemic. This is both good and bad. True. Your thoughts on healthy relationship with social media. Ooh. This one is a great question because we're doing a lot of social distancing, people are doing a lot more social mediaing. I made up a new word, mediaing, yes. So sometimes social media is great to stay connected, but at the same time, the more you scroll through, the more you see comments, the more comments that you see are about people not living their best lives, which can affect you. The more things you see about the news where there's negativity happening all over the place, that can really affect you in a deep way. Healthy relationship with social media, I will say my number one tip for social media is do not look at social media first thing in the morning. I'll say it again. Do not look at social media first thing in the morning. Why? Your brain, throughout the day, while you're sleeping, goes through different wave states. So in our waking consciousness, we're in usually beta state, okay? When we're in a state of deep relaxation, we go down to alpha, and then we go to theta, and then when you're super asleep, we go down to delta, okay, the brainwave state. So when you're asleep, it's delta, right? You're starting to sort of wake up, theta, and then once you first wake up, you're in this alpha state. When you're in this alpha state, what's happening is the brain is trying to get used to operating again in the world, because it's still a bit, you still have a bit of some of the subconscious stuff that's happening. So when we're dreaming, essentially when we're dreaming, and this is another topic when it comes to dreams, when we're dreaming, when we're sleeping, we are in the deep subconscious and unconscious world in that moment. As you're waking up, the brain is still kind of accessing some of that unconscious, subconscious stuff. Essentially, when you wake up and the brain is in that alpha state is like the door to the subconscious, where the theta is the subconscious itself. So if you're waking up and you're in this alpha state, which is the door to the subconscious, and you grab social media and the first thing you see is bombing somewhere here, these people died, this stuff happened, your brain is taking all that stuff in subconsciously, on the subconscious level, which will then start to affect you consciously. And that will start off your day, seeing disaster, seeing negativity. So I suggest when the first thing you get up, you should do is put on your favorite song, put on some positive words, positive affirmations. If you are open to this, or if you are connected to an esoteric or spiritual practice, pulling out a sacred book or sacred text to read first thing in the morning, because the first thing you want to interact with is something that's going to uplift and enhance, and that will seep in positive words, good thoughts, while you're still in this sort of subconscious-ish moment when you first wake up. So that's my first rule. Do not look at social media first thing when you get up in the morning. Unless it's like social media of like, again, positivity or positive words or stuff. Other than that, don't do it. I'll also say, try not to look at it right before you go to bed. I know a lot of us, we're in bed, we're scrolling through before we go to sleep, and then the phone is near us. Again, as you're in that moment, going to sleep, your brain goes from this beta state and it starts to go down to alpha, again, which is the door to the subconscious. So you don't want to be on social media looking up stuff before you go to sleep. So, waking up, going to sleep, I say is a no. During the day, managing it, I know there are a few apps you can use that will tell you how many hours you've been on your phone or how many hours you've been on social media. I think that's great to really manage, because sometimes we're on social media just scrolling like for hours and liking for hours. And I get it, we want to stay connected with people that we love and that we follow. But sometimes that time can be used for other things, such as connecting with other folks, actually connecting, like talking with them on the phone. Sometimes having that moment that I mentioned before, putting that timer on and just like laying down or sitting down so that your brain can sort of process what's been happening. Yeah, so we need that time for ourselves. So if you can, not do social media at the beginning of the day, end of the day, and then get the app that tells you how many times, how many hours you've been on social. Actually, I know example for like Instagram, like it'll tell you, if you go to the back end, it'll tell you how many hours you've been on it on a particular day or particular week. And I would say, like, set a time for yourself. So you say, I only want to spend an hour on social media a day. Because if you think about it, we spend way more than an hour on social media per day. You know, so I would say set a time for yourself to know, okay, I only want to spend this amount of time during social media, and then other time I'll find time to do other stuff, relax, connect with other people, like actually connect with them on the phone or through Zoom, or watch something that's funny or something that really is uplifting. Again, or just taking time just for self, just to breathe, or dare I say, use that time to focus on other projects that you want to do, which you haven't been able to, that that you've been procrastinating on. I think if we take out some of the social media stuff, because we are scrolling a lot and just liking a lot and commenting a lot, and there isn't really any sustenance in a lot of the social media things that happen, we might find time to find other passions that we really want to do, or things that we really enjoy doing, or again, putting our time into another project that we haven't been doing thus far. So I think it's about finding your own time with social media, making sure that it's healthy for you. But again, beginning of the day, when you first wake up, go to bed, no. I would say at least, I want to say an hour. First hour when you first wake up, hour before you go to bed, no social media. If you can't do an hour, at least a half an hour. Because that's it.
I will be taking that advice today. I will put my phone away as I prepare to go to sleep later. That's good advice. Thank you so much, Kadeem. This was so helpful. I've learned personally a lot. I can't wait to try out the breathing, especially. That was awesome. If anyone wants to get in touch with you.
Yes. Anyone wants to get in touch with me, I'm on, talking about social media, I'm on every single social media platform. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. It's all Kadeem. I'll put it in the chat so you can see it. It's all under Kadeem1. Everything is under Kadeem1, so you can check me out there. If you want to know more about my practice, instead of asking me deeper questions, I want to know more of the things that I offer. I know I mentioned meditation. I did have a meditation album that came out that I created myself, which I have a series of meditations on an album that I created, which came out on September 1st. So you can go check that out at kadeem1.com. So that's K-A-D as in David, E-E-M as in Mary, 1-O-N-E.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kadeem, and everybody have a great night. Hope to see you at Alumni Weekend on Demand coming soon.
Thank you. Goodbye.